Welcome to Main Street Mavericks, celebrating conversations with exceptional Main Street businesses who serve friends and neighbors in your community. Here's your host, Joel Helfer.
Good afternoon. This is Joel Helfer with another episode of Main Street Mavericks Radio. And today we have an exclusive interview with a special guest, Urvi Mehta from Phoenix, Arizona. And she is a partner, owner, and founder of Clients Online. Urvi is a social media expert, a coach, and a consultant. And she helps people organically build their presence and their list online with a whole bunch of interesting Facebook strategies that we're going to talk about today. Urvi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joel. I'm very happy to be here and honored to be a guest on your radio program today.
Well, thank you very much. And let's just go right into it. I know everybody and his uncle is on Facebook almost on a daily basis. And people are posting all the time. But one thing that I'm curious is how many people are really seeing those posts? And what can you do to get more people to see what you're actually talking about?
Yeah, well, Joel, that's actually a great question. And it's a question that I commonly get asked by folks is, are people actually seeing what I'm posting out there? I'm not getting any traction. And the thing is that Facebook has made some changes. And, it's been about two to 3 years now since they've made some of these changes. And their goal is to get you to advertise. I mean, they want IPO. They need to make their shareholders profitable. So the goal for Facebook is, spend some money to advertise. But, as a small business owner, that may not be something that you have in your budget at this point in time. And so what I always share with my students, with my clients is that you want to really focus on putting content out that's engaging. Now, in general, Facebook only shows about 3% of your likes, and this is strictly, we're talking about Facebook pages. When you post something out, only about 3% of your likes will actually see the content. So in order to organically increase that number, you want to make sure that you're posting content out that's something that your prospects, your target market wants to see and wants to know about. So if you've really done some research in regards to who your ideal client is, who's your target market, it really helps to help cater that content. And the other thing is you can't just post once in a while or once a day on Facebook to really be getting some traction. You want to at least focus on posting a couple of times a day, at least Monday through Friday, and even going into the weekends if you can. And I know as a small business holder, we're going to be wearing a lot of hats in our business. So the last thing you want to think of is, oh no, I have to start posting, a lot more content. How much time is it going to take, and is it really going to bring an ROI for me? And what I recommend is you want to have that 80-20 rule. So 80% of the content that you are posting out should be something that's informative, helpful, adding value to your target prospects. And then 20% could be focused from a sales or an about you standpoint. And when I say sales, that doesn't mean actually getting them to make a purchasing decision on Facebook, but it could be bringing them back to maybe a free webinar, if you have like an open house, if you have a local brick and mortar store, or maybe a strategy call or a coffee meeting with you. So people don't like to spend money on business-related things when they're on Facebook because they're there to check out what their friends are doing, really to socialize. So get them to build that know, like, and trust factor with you within that 20%. And there's lots of, different sites out there where people can, have sourced content that you can utilize. So you don't have to spend a lot of time creating your own content. You can share other articles from around the web, but in between put in some of your own content. So in a week, let's say if you have 20 posts created for the week, at least 5 of those posts should be something that you are sharing maybe articles you've written, maybe videos. Videos are really hot right now on Facebook, or even like quote images work really well. And so that way they're seeing a little bit of a side of you, and then the other content can be stuff that you've sourced from around the web.
One thing that I know some people do is they have software that they buy that automatically posts at different times of the day for them, like Hootsuite or something like that. Do you recommend using something like that to cut down on your commitment of time to have to post every day?
Oh, absolutely. We use Hootsuite quite extensively with our clients that we do the social media marketing for them. Buffer is another tool that's pretty common out there. Meet Edgar. There's quite a bit of social media scheduling tools. But one thing that I really like about Hootsuite is that not only is it a scheduling tool, but it's also like your social media dashboard. You can bring in all the different profiles. You can see if people are commenting. You can respond back to them. So it really gives you an overview of not just Facebook, but you can pull in Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, even YouTube channels you can pull into there. So it gives you a nice overview in one shot versus having to log into the multiple dashboard, the multiple tools. Now, what I do recommend is that you can't use a set it and forget it. Like, let's say on a Sunday evening you schedule out the entire week, then that does not mean that you don't go back and check. You want to make sure that you're going and seeing, are people interacting? Are they liking, commenting, responding back to those folks? And it's funny, I had a client of mine say, do you really want me to say thanks for liking my post? Like, that just sounds silly in this day and age. But when you actually comment back, then Facebook then also realizes that you're actually listening to people who are engaging. So they see you as being an active page owner from that standpoint. And then the people who are liking see that there is actually someone looking. It's not like it's just being posted and that's it. So it helps people want to come back again because they feel heard. And in this day and age with, technology pretty much overtaking all aspects of our life, people still want that human touch. And when you respond back to them, they get that human touch factor in there. So I definitely recommend scheduling, but then have time set aside in your day. If not you, then at least someone on your staff, your team, who's going to be managing the profiles on a day-to-day basis. And it doesn't have to take long. Maybe you mark in your calendar 15 minutes, once in the morning and maybe once in the afternoon, and just kind of peek in and quickly take a look to see if there's any activity happening.
It's a wonderful thing. I noticed in the last few months, I've been posting every recorded interview that I do, not only on Facebook, but on 25 or 26 different platforms. We got it all set up. And that I've also gone one step further with the trailer where, like, when I complete this interview, I'm going to put your picture up there and the fact that we just did an interview and look for it in a few days when it's going to be published. And a lot of good things are happening from publishing these interviews on Facebook. Not only am I getting a lot of interaction and comments, which I respond to, but people are repurposing and sharing the interviews to their own groups. And am I doing the right thing? It seems to be.
Yeah, you're doing a great thing by putting it out there. And what's great is that you're making it easy for people to then share helpful content to their own communities. You're putting it on a platform that they're already active on, and they see a great post. And I love that you're including an image with the link to the recording of the radio show, because images do really well on Facebook. And they also take up more real estate in the post versus just having the text with a link. And so, you're being a contributor on the platform, and it's helping people then be a contributor to their own communities. So it's amazing. Are you also sharing on the different, like on LinkedIn, on Twitter? If you're not, I would definitely recommend also sharing there as well.
Right now, we are posting the interview I'm up to 26 different online platforms. We got everything covered. As a matter of fact, YouTube seems to be the one that has the most bang for the buck. And when you go on YouTube, it automatically shares the post on 8 different social media sites.
Oh, wow, that's great. You're definitely leveraging.
So actually what we're doing is each interview that after we record it and add the intro and the outro, we publish it, and it goes into 26 different we started out, we were at 10, then we went to 12, now we're up to 26 different places where you can listen to this interview, and including iTunes, iHeart, Spreaker, Stitcher, Blog Talk, on and on and on. Mm-hmm. And plus all the ones and one of the ones that seems to be doing the best is LinkedIn. We put it as an update on LinkedIn, and I'm getting sometimes 200, 300, 400 views of the interview per day. And, not to belittle Facebook, hopefully they're not listening to this, but the one that I seem to get the least amount of response to is Facebook posts, and I can't figure out why.
Yeah, and unfortunately with Facebook, because they're really wanting business owners to start paying, at least boosting, if not doing targeted ad campaigns to the post, they really make it more difficult from that standpoint. So another thing that I like to do to kind of get around that is Instagram was actually bought by Facebook a few years back. So if you post it on Instagram and then actually share it from Instagram to your Facebook page, I don't know why this happens, but I've seen it from our post and then posting for clients. When it's coming in from Instagram, there actually is a little bit more traction on the post than just posting directly onto Facebook, which is, I know, silly, but for some reason it helps to get some more views. So what I've done is just with testing with our own stuff and with client stuff is testing different ways to see what gets the most engagement when we're posting content out, and that's one of the strategies that's worked for us. Whereas if you're using videos and you post a YouTube link, Facebook doesn't really like that. They prefer that you actually upload the video to Facebook directly, and they'll give you more views of that video when you upload it directly into Facebook. So they have their little quirks of, what they like to see and what they don't. And the easiest way to even start getting more engagement is to actually survey your existing clientele. What type of content would they like to see from you? What kind of strategies would they like to see you sharing, based on what your business is? And if you're just getting started, there are searches that you can do on Facebook where you can type in, pages liked by people who like. And if you're new, you can put in your competitors' pages, and they'll actually bring up results of what are some of the interests of your target market. So, for example, for us, when we were sharing quotes, we were doing quotes from famous business folks like Henry Ford, Winston Churchill. We do some quotes from Gandhi, from different presidents, and it turned out that when we did that search for our own business, our people liked Abraham Lincoln. And we weren't sharing quotes from Abraham Lincoln. So we started to share quotes from Abraham Lincoln, and we started to see more engagement on those quotes. And the way that we would share the quote is as an image, and then we'd also put the text for the quote in the post. And so that helped to increase our engagement. And so it's little tweaks that need to be done, but you just need to know what to do essentially in order to get some of that organic engagement. And then when you're ready, you can start doing some boosted posts or start doing some targeted ad campaigns to help that traction go even faster for you.
You think it would be good to advertise for small amounts of money these interviews? Do you think that would help boost the people who are listening to them?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think you've built a good base of your organic page and the organic traction. And now that this is something that is, it's a consistent flow in your process, if you started to do some ads to the different radio interview posts, you would definitely see more folks listening in. There would be more engagement as well as more people may even start to share it because it's going out to more individuals. So I would definitely test it. What I always recommend in social media and marketing in general is you need to test, right? We learn from Dan Kennedy, test until you know what's working, and then you ramp up on what's working. And I definitely feel, this is definitely helpful content for business owners. Business owners are hanging out on Facebook, so it's a great way to reach them even more.
Well, I did something yesterday just for fun because everybody loves to see their name in print. Mm-hmm. And I figured out at the end of the day I had actually worked or done something for about 11 different people. And all I did was I said, thank you, and then I listed the name of the 11 different people, and I highlighted them as many as I could where I had a Facebook page. And I said, thanks for a great day. That was the whole post. And everybody was commenting on this post. And it really said nothing other than the fact that I listed their names and I thanked them for making it a great day for me. So I'm finding that sometimes fun things that you do which are a little bit different and really, you're really not trying to accomplish anything other than have a little fun, but you constantly mention people's names really work well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people love to get that shout out. In general, people love recognition. Even if you think to ourselves, like if someone reaches out to us or they recognize something that we've done, it opens up your heart. It makes you feel good all around. And so you can do that on the different platforms. And what happens is they get notified that they've been tagged in the post or their page has been tagged in the post. And so they're going to want to come out and make sure that they respond to that. So that's another great way. That's a great thing that you did. It really helps to bring people back to the page because what happens is, generally business owners think, okay, I'm going to get a lot of likes. And once I get a lot of likes, they're just going to start seeing the information. But there's multiple studies that have been done that once people like a page, they very rarely come back to that page unless it's an established brand in their mind, and they're actually looking for that on a day-to-day basis. So in order to get people to come back is you need to post out that content that's going to engage with them. And so just building up likes is not going to really cut it on Facebook. And I actually recommend that people don't spend money in ramping up the likes. Get your first 100, 200 likes, but then from there, I would not invest a lot of money in adding more likes because what Facebook also looks at are numbers. So let's say you have 1,000 people that have liked your page, but only 3 people come and like a post. They're going to see that your audience is not really engaged with what you're putting out there, that they don't really care to see that information. And so they're going to show your stuff even less than what they would have. Whereas if you have 100 likes and 3 people liked it, that's that 3% of that. So that's staying in tune with their algorithm. So, don't make the mistake to ramp up the likes from I call it kind of like an ego standpoint. Like you want to be seen as having lots of likes, but it actually doesn't help you from the engagement ratio in the long run, unless you start building up those pages with the already engaged audience.
One thing that I've done that someone recommended to me and tell me if this is good or not is that to make the same post 2 or 3 or 4 times a day if it's a post that you want to get out there. Like, for example, I want to publicize somebody's interview because different people are going to see it each time you post. Mm-hmm. It's not going to go to the same people. Is that true or not true?
I wouldn't post it on the same day. I would definitely repurpose that content within the week, but not on the same day, because then Facebook just sees it as you're putting the same content over and over again. Now, on a different platform, let's say Twitter, it's a completely different thing. You could put the same tweet out multiple times in the day, and Twitter doesn't mind because the feed is going by so fast that people, are definitely not going to see it. So they're okay with you putting out the same tweet 3 to 4 times a day if you're posting out like 10 tweets in a day. But on Facebook, if you posted something on Monday, I wouldn't post it again until maybe Wednesday, just so there's some time in between that same exact post going out.
I got it. One thing you bring up Twitter, which is a very popular site these days, and I noticed that a lot of people are making a lot of political comments, personal, pro and con, and without going into it. Is that a good thing for you to do, or not so much?
So in general, when it comes to politics, unless you're in the business that relates to politics, I recommend that you don't put a lot of your own viewpoints out there, because social media is about building relationships, engaging with people who you may or may not know already. It's not about branding your political message. And that goes for any of the sites, right? And so for Twitter, it has come up quite a bit lately.
It's an understatement.
Yeah. But I would, from a standpoint of really bringing in leads into your business, Twitter has not been my best resource. It's a good place for putting your message out there. You can set up tools to automatically update to Twitter based on when you're posting to Facebook and so forth. But it's not one that I spend a lot of time in. If I only have 15 to 20 minutes a day to do the social media part of my business, I don't necessarily focus actively on Twitter, unless I'm looking to build a relationship from a media standpoint. If I want to get maybe on a news station or get on a radio show, or a lot of the media type folks are active on Twitter, and they do post out to seek out people to bring on to their show. So you want to stay in tune with that. But I definitely say stay away from the political piece, unless you're a political strategist. Then you need to be putting it out there. But for most of the folks, it's just not a place to start an online
there's
debate.
There's a lot of amateur political strategists these days, which is an understatement, but we're not going to go there. But I was just curious because I know that it seems that companies more and more are looking at your social media posts, some all the way to the extent of deciding whether or not to hire you. So is that true that you have to be kind of careful on what you say and how you present yourself on not only Facebook, but Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever?
Oh, absolutely. My rule of thumb is if you wouldn't be comfortable saying it to your grandmother, then you don't put it out there. And it's not, from a standpoint of either building clients or if you're looking for a job, recruiters are definitely checking out all of your social media properties to see what type of stuff you're saying, if they really want to bring that energy into their organization. So you really need to be cautious, because once it's out there, even if you go and you delete it, it's still out in the internet space. Someone can still go back and find it at some point in time. So you just really need to be careful, and especially with the millennials and even the younger generation. I always tell my sister and her friends, you need to be really cautious of some of the images that you put out there, some of the videos when you're out and about. You may be in a great job right now, but you don't know if you're going to have that job, 2 days from now. Anything can happen at any point. So just be really cautious of what you're putting out there. So I love my grandmother rule, and I teach that to everybody that goes through my trainings, or even with my clients when they're coming up with their own content. If you have a viewpoint, that's fine. There's a certain place to put that out. But when you're also looking to build a business or to land a job, you need to be cautious of what you say in the online space.
Yeah, going along with your grandmother rule, how do people find you, Urvi, and find out more about your programs and what you offer people? How do they go about finding you?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way to connect with me will be on Facebook. You can actually find our Facebook page for Clients Online. So it's facebook.com/Clients Online. And if they have any questions, if they want to get some advice on something, feel free to, I'd love for you guys to just come join us there, ask the questions on the page, and we'll respond to you from there.
Oh, that's wonderful. And this has really been enlightening. And you obviously are someone that people need to seek out, because everybody is a amateur social media professional, even though most people never know how or never learn how to do it right.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And I really appreciate, Urvi, you being on Main Street Mavericks Radio. The name of your company is Clients Online. Mm-hmm. And you're building a new website, which is going to be up shortly, so everybody look for that website and contact Urvi Mehta, and you're going to be glad you did. Thank you very much for being on the show. I wish you and your husband and your new daughter continued success.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I hope you have a lot of fun, and we'll definitely have you back on the show. Thanks very much.
It'd be my pleasure. Thanks, Joel.
Thanks, Urvi. This is Joel Helfer from Main Street Mavericks Radio, and have a little fun today. Don't save it up.
You've been listening to Main Street Mavericks Radio with Joel Helfer. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit mainstreetmavericks.com.